Chapel has forever been a keystone part of the LCA program. Somewhere along the way, it became really evident that students needed new opportunities to be increasingly engaged, active, and to really be able to draw connections between their faith and how it's relevant to the rest of their lives. So we created a team. The spiritual formation team consists of Jenna Olson, one of our Bible faculty. She's serving this year as our campus ministry coordinator and leading the Faith in Action initiative. Neilio Franco, who's one of our math faculty. Christopher Greco, who's our arts division head and theater director, who also is a worship pastor. And Nate Grimley, another one of our Bible faculty and an LCA alum.
Over the past year, we've really revamped how chapel works. Jenna's really taken a look at how chapel has been in the past few years and has created a way that we can vary the type of experience that a student gets.
This year we introduced 5 different types of chapel, many of which have been done before at LCA, but we've created more of a flow and a structure and a consistency with those. So one is having a chapel speaker from our community. Another is bringing in somebody from the outside, which is also very common. But then we've had chapels specifically dedicated to worship, chapels specifically dedicated to student testimonies, and then chapels dedicated to our faith in action and service learning.
One big change from last year to this year is last year we had a lot of all-school chapels with a speaker and congregational singing of music. And so getting student engagement when you're doing this week after week, I think, has been challenging at times. Sometimes they'd be very engaged and sometimes it would feel like, is anybody out there? And I think having different ways of engaging with chapel has then allowed, when we are in the kind of normal chapel service that feels like a worship service, then the students have a better opportunity to go, oh, that's what this is today.
So it's really nice to have that rotation in it so students aren't starting to fall into this autopilot of what chapel is, that every week that there's something different.
The student testimonies this year have been incredible. To see students who, I would say, never in a million years would feel like they're comfortable sharing in chapel, go up and share a story about what God's been doing in their life with confidence and with obviously still humility, but they have taken that step out and stood in front of the whole school and have not backed down from that opportunity to bless their classmates as well as the rest of the faculty and staff. Seeing that growth from certain students who I stereotypically wouldn't expect to do that has been incredible to see.
And the reaction that we got was just astounding. Seeing students stay after, just to receive a prayer, to just be with one another, to talk about their own vulnerabilities and their own struggles. It showed me exactly what these students wanted. They wanted to know more about their faith. They wanted to be real and to be genuine. And I'm glad that we are giving space for that through testimony chapels, through worship and reflection, just through the different categories of chapel that give them a variety of ways to test their faith, to challenge their faith, to ask big questions, and to listen to other experiences.
As a part of chapel this year, we have integrated the service that has always been a part of LCA. So we have put that in chapels and we're using chapel time to participate in service. So every single one of our students is partnered with an outside agency that they are working with all school year, and they got to choose these agencies based on their passions and their interests and their strengths. And they are working alongside other students and with some faculty advisors to reach out to those agencies and asking, how can we help you? And then our students are looking at themselves and going, okay, how can I help? How can I get involved? Students are putting together comprehensive presentations that I get to receive as proposals for work. They've been amazing. They're literally drawing connections between the service that they're doing and the things that they're discovering about their faith in Jesus, and we're seeing our work make an impact. It's been really fun to see how this, frankly, very ambitious program has taken shape over the course of the year, and it's added a ton of new engagement to our chapel programming.
In chapel, usually students are the recipients of what we're doing. And what's been so cool in Faith in Action is hearing students share their plans for what they want to do in their pod, seeing them execute on plans like at the Polar Plunge or at other visits we've done with our different pods, like going to L'Arche or going to Bina Farms. These students have not taken the back seat. They've stepped up, they've led, and our students have taken that in stride.
One of our pods partnered with Special Olympics, and they put on a mobile polar plunge, which happened in our front parking lot. And our students worked together to raise money. We raised $1,500, and they got to watch 9 of their beloved teachers plunge in cold water on a February afternoon.
The heart of Faith in Action is to be able to implement this side of what it means to live as a Christian that a lot of us sometimes forget. That we just think it's singing songs, it's going to church, but there's a lot more. When Jesus came and lived his life, his focus was on the least of these. His focus was reaching out. And the different pods that we have, in a way, accentuate the kinds of focus that Jesus had throughout his life here.
When somebody acts on their faith, they now have an experience with God and with other people that nobody else can take away from them. It's not about opinion at that point. It's just like, this is my experience. So if we can, through the years that a student is here at LCA, put the student in opportunities where they can do something, engage, have an actual experience in the real world, I think that that will then make our worship, when we're singing a song together, more meaningful, more personal, less of a performance, and another aspect of their faith.
The heart of Faith in Action is students taking ownership of both their own faith journeys as well as making a difference in the lives of others, both at LCA and outside of LCA.
This year, I saw students step up and take leadership and ownership in their pods and get excited about a project that they then go bring to their own church community and get their church excited. I've seen students step up and share their personal testimony about how God has worked in their lives. I've seen students engage and participate in our worship and reflection chapels, and all of these signs of student engagement that's not just participating is what we're working towards and something that is going to keep growing from year to year. The heart of Faith in Action and our goal with student engagement in chapel isn't just about making great LCA students while they're here, but that when they graduate from LCA, they've had these experiences with God and their faith is relevant to them in ways that they still care about and they want to continue to cultivate as they continue to grow.
Our Faith in Action initiative and our commitment to making sure that our chapel programming remains relevant to a post-pandemic generation of teenagers isn't us doing anything new. It's a recommitment to something that has been core to our mission since 1946. Whether it's teaching students how to share their own experiences and stories with one another, or teaching students how to draw connections between their faith and the impact it's going to have on them and on the world around them for the rest of their lives, or whether it's simply hearing the beautiful truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, we're still doing all of those things. Our hope is that by investing in these 5 formats for our chapel programming this year, but also into the future, that we are creating spaces where students can have their curiosity captured, where they can explore their faith, they can learn that faith isn't something that is to be consumed, but something that can become creative, that can create community, that can make an impact, not just in their own lives, but also in the lives of those around them. That is putting faith into action.